welcome to the Karen Kenney Show. This is the place where we take a no bullshit look at life's little lessons. Here, together, we find the spiritual glory in even the most wicked hard story. This is a journey from fear back to love and how we can find our greatest strength and happiness in some of the most unlikely places. I believe that if you're willing to change your mind, you can totally change your life. So, are you ready to rewrite your story and choose to live free? Let's do this. Hey, you guys, welcome to the Karen Kenney Show. I am wicked excited to be here. When aren't I excited to talk to you guys? I mean, let's be real. I'm always wicked excited. Woo! So here's the thing. Those of you who are watching, you might see me look down from time to time because I made some notes to myself. So let's see. I think I'm going to call this one the question that changes everything. Or the question that can change everything. One of those. The question that changes everything. So I'm going to dive right in because I'm not going to lie. KK's got some shit to do. I got some stuff I got to take care of. But I wanted to make sure I have been consistent. I am now over 100 shows. I've been dropping these suckers once a week for a long time now, you guys. I'm really thrilled about that. So let's just get right to it. Okay. So the other night on one of our group calls in the Nest, so you guys have heard me talk about the Nest. It is my spiritual membership and community. And I have some really amazing guest teachers in the Nest. I call them, when the guest teachers come into the Nest, I call it a guest guide gathering. I love alliteration, you guys. I'm kind of a word nerd. I admit it. I admit it. Such a hashtag word nerd. But here's the thing. So if you guys listened to the podcast last week with Brad Jensen, my buddy Brad, and Brad is so friggin' funny. He's like, I had him as a guest teacher in the Nest. So this is the conversation that I'm referencing. But he keeps saying that I'm his spirit animal, which is just like the funniest shit ever. All right. So, and we're back. Here's the thing. So on the call that Brad was our guest in, he came in, he told his incredible story of transformation. Like I said, if you haven't listened to that episode, man, go right now and listen to Spiritual Fitness with Brad Jensen. And he tells the incredible story of his, overcoming his addiction and his big transformation, and how he had a really big decision to make, which was either like, you're going to fucking kill yourself or you're going to get sober. Like that's it, one or the other. And I'm so happy to say that he chose the latter, and he is here with us today. So anyways, he's in the group and we're talking. And then one of the members of our group, so one of the things that happens is we have like Q&A and stuff at the end. And one of the members of our group asked a question that I stepped forward to answer, because I thought that what I said to her might be helpful to her. But then it occurred to me that it might be helpful to all of you. And I did a newsletter about this. I had written a piece, shared it in the newsletter, and then I wanted to vocalize it. I wanted you guys to hear it straight from my mouth to your ears, as I say, God willing. So one of the members stepped forward and asked the question, how could they help their children? And I'm going to keep the particular details private, because, you know, what happens in the nest stays in the nest. But I thought that what I shared for an answer, like I said, might be helpful to more than just the people that were on that call. And so what I told them was, instead of thinking like, you know, when we have somebody in our life who maybe needs some help, they have a situation going on, they got something going on. And we often are afraid, like, how can I help this person? You know, what should I say? Like, what should I do? Like the whole thing. And I always say, like, you know, instead of thinking that you have to have the perfect answer, consider asking this question instead. And in the future, and I'm going to share that with you in a second, but just so you know, in the future, I'm going to have a guest on named John Berghoff. And John Berghoff is brilliant. He is the founder of the Exchange Approach. And his whole business is centered around asking better questions. And I think that so often we think we have to have the answers, But really what we have to do is get better at asking better questions. And I was thinking about this. So I said, instead of thinking like you had to have the perfect answer for your kid, try to ask this question instead. Because this is the question that I often ask myself, right? I hash a lot of things out with myself first before I go out. So I always say it like this: I go in first, then I go up, right? I go to the divine, I go to God, I go to my spiritual team source, I go into my inner teacher, I go to the divine. Then I might go to my sweetie, then I go out, right? So I go in, I go up, then I go out. So it's a question that I often ask myself, my clients, my sweetie, and my friends when they come to me with either a problem or an upset or a situation or some fucking story that they're telling or like whatever. Okay. And so I learned to ask this question myself because I kind of found out the hard way just how friggin' frustrating it is to not be asked this question. Like, so if I had my own thing going on, or if I had something coming up for my own review, right? Like some feelings were coming up or some memory or some story or something, a situation, whatever, something that I was either trying to, work out or work through. I discovered that like a lot of people never asked me this question, and I would get frustrated. At the time, I didn't get frustrated because I didn't know that this is what I needed to hear, right? It's not like I was like, oh, they need to ask me this question. I didn't know. It's been now in doing the work that I do, right? For as long as I've been doing it, I realized like, oh, here's the piece that was missing. I didn't get asked this question. So here's the thing. I discovered that this one simple question can be a wicked, powerful game changer. And it goes a little something like this. Hit it. You guys remember that? And it goes a little something like this. Hit it. Okay, here's the question. What do you need from me right now? Right? Somebody comes to you, they got the thing, they're on their roll, they're venting, they're telling the story, and then they did this, and the person at work, and they're always doing this, and this person did that. Like, you know how it is. Somebody comes through the door, babe, how is work? Or sweetie, how is work? Or hun, or whatever, right? How are the kids today? Whatever. And they launch, they're like into the story. And instead of, which I'm going to talk about, right? So this is the question. We'll get back to the instead of. What do you need from me right now? And as soon as I shared this with the group, you guys, like I could see everyone's face kind of like, some people, it was like they lit up, like their eyes lit up. Other people got really contemplative. Like some, like when a dog, when a dog hears a sound that your human ears can't hear, and they kind of like, like they, like if you're watching me right now instead of listening, you can see I'm like twisting my head like dogs do. Like they cock their head, they cock their ears with their little ears. They kind of maneuver them like, like what? Like, wait, what? So I could see people like thinking about it and reflecting on it. And some people like, it was like, boom, like immediately light bulb over the head moment. Right. Because they considered the possibilities of how this might make a difference in their life and in all of their relationships. And here's one of the things I talk about in the nest. Like the nest is about many things, but one of the heartbeats of the nest is giving you the spiritual tools to improve the most important relationships in your life. Those are the relationships with yourself, source, and spirit. Yes, of course, because that's the foundation of all your other relationships. But it's also about improving the relationships, right, that are most deep and personal to you, whether it's your sweetie, your partner, your children, your friends, your close family, right, your neighbors, whatever it is. But it's also in your professional life, your business, like changing the relationship that you have to your work, to your mission, to your ministry, to your coworkers, to your partners, to your clients, like the whole thing, right? And imagine if we ask that question, what do you need from me right now? Because whether you use it for personal, professional conversations, these 8 small words can make a huge difference. Tiny words, big difference. 8 small little words. Like what's the saying that I love? I'm going to do a whole podcast about this. Small hinges, tiny hinges swing open big doors. And that's what I think this question is. It's a tiny, small hinge that can swing open huge doors in intimacy, in reflection, in conversation, right? So after I said this question out loud, like one guy even raised his hand and he said with with such heartfelt emotion, like got teary-eyed, right? And he just said like, man, you know, if my mother had ever just asked me that question, it would have been amazing. And that, like, I felt that one when he said that, because one of the reasons why I think this question is so impactful is that, you know, when we ask this question, here's what we're doing. We're intentionally taking into account what the other person actually wants or needs from us, as opposed to us just like, boom, like bum rushing in with our problem solving, right? We all have our own kind of style. So a lot of times, especially when it comes to our loved ones or to your children or to whatever, we immediately go in and sometimes like we want to fix, we want to help. We don't like to see them suffering. We don't want them to struggle. So we kind of like bum rush in with our own problem solving style. Or sometimes we definitely are showing up like with our own agenda. Like we totally have our own agenda. So the beauty of this basic question is that it allows us to kind of ask, what do you need or want, rather than just showing up with our little bag of tricks, assuming we know what's best for them, right? So the beauty of this basic question is that you can also easily do some wicked simple like spin-offs. You know how they do a spin-off of a show? Right? So there's a really easy spin-off of this that you can easily either like make your own or you can add on to it, right? Like, so in A Course in Miracles, there's a prayer, and I'll share it with you guys at the end of the podcast, but there's a prayer that I say every day. And I also say it every time before I get on a podcast, before I speak, or, you know, have a mentoring client or go into the Nest group or whatever. Anytime I'm about to open my big mouth, I say this prayer. But here's a little snippet of it. This is the other great question to ask besides, what do you need from me right now? Right? Here's the other question. How can I be helpful right now? So when I'm on a call with one of my one-to-one clients, excuse me, I just had a tofurkey sandwich, a little burping. So before I get on a call with one of my clients, you know, we obviously do a centering, I do a quick little prayer. And then one of the first questions I asked is this: how can I be helpful? How can I be helpful right now? Like, what's going on and how can I be helpful? Or one of my other personal favorites that I like to ask sometimes is, I'll say like, so do you want me to just like shut the fuck up and listen? Like, do you want me to just like zip it, just shut the fuck up and listen? Or do you want me to offer some feedback, some support, or like, you know, like a resolution, like, you know, what do you want from me? And why this is also important is because then we're not like showing up and we're not just kind of like cannonballing in. You know, when we used to be kids and be swimming in the pool and somebody would be like, cannonball, and they would like, and they would like dive into the pool and they would soak everybody around them. And who was having fun with that? They were having fun, but everybody else had to kind of be like at the mercy of the damn cannonball. And sometimes we emotionally can cannonball people, and we kind of just like jump in with our jumbo size, like verbal toolbox, and we're trying to fix shit. When really all the other person wants us to do is listen. And I can't tell you how many times, first of all, being a chick myself, right? Being a woman myself, I can't tell you how many conversations happen in kind of like female feminine circles, however you identify, where they'll say, man, sometimes I just want him to listen. And he always wants to come in and fix. And I'm like, no, don't fix it. I just want you to hear me. I just want to be heard. I just want you to see me and hear me. Sometimes they want you to also take their side, right? Tell them they're right or whatever. But mostly it's like, please don't rush in with your fix it all, Mr. Handyman or handy girl. You know, don't rush in with your trying to fix it. I just want somebody to listen. So if we ask this question, right, they can actually tell you what they need, and then you get to be like amazingly supportive. And then likewise, you won't, if you ask this question and they inform you, that way you're not just going to be sitting there like all mum's the word, like not saying a peep, when they want somebody to actually, you know, get in there and get their hands dirty and maybe offer them some advice, or maybe share some of your own personal experience or a story that will help them to relate to their own situation, you know? And I just think that not showing up and not making these assumptions, right? I don't care how long you've known the person, right? Stay in curiosity, stay out of judgment, and show up and say, like, what do you need from me right now? Like, how can I be helpful? Do you want me to listen, or do you want me to whatever? And so, I thought this was really cool too, because like, here's one thing, right? I don't know if you guys remember, I'm old enough to remember when this sucker first came out, but there was a book by John, what was John, I think it begins with an H. It's going to drive me crazy. It's like, when you can see it, but it's like on the tip of your tongue. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. Anyways, he wrote a book called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. John Gray, maybe. Oh, KK. It's like, it's burning me that I can't. I'm pretty sure it's John Gray. Okay, I'm going to take a shot with that. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, double amen hands. If you know that book and you read it, holy Jesus, did I read that book? I snatched it right off the shelf when it first came out. And here's what I know to be true. Like, men and women, we communicate differently, right? And so, and like, whatever your particular leaning is, right? I have a lot of masculine energy. So there are men who might have a little more feminine energy. So I'm not like just saying, like, that book was very like men, Mars, women, Venus. I'm just saying, however you fall on the spectrum of this, right? We all tend to, like, sometimes communicate a little bit differently. So just for example, the other day, in fact, talking to Brad on the phone, I was talking to my friend Brad, and before he came into the nest for a group thing, and he was traveling, right? I think he was on his way to the airport or whatever was happening, and we were talking on the phone. And as I'm talking, it's just like quiet. And so women will do this. I kept going, "Are you still there?" And he's like, "Yep." And I had to finally say to him, I keep asking you that because when women tend to talk to each other, I'm not saying all women, but when women tend to talk to each other, we often do this thing where we are making sounds the whole time you're talking. Like, you'll be like, and then he said this, and we'll go, we'll suck our teeth. We let you know that we're with you. We let you know, not all, but a lot of us, right? We give some sort of verbal sign that we're paying attention, that we're feeling you, and that we're hearing you. And a lot of times dudes are just listening and they're waiting for you. Like, they're just like, give me the story. They're quiet the whole time. And women sometimes we ask for more information, but we're definitely usually, again, not all of us, but a lot of the times we're letting you know we're right there with you. So that was just like another little example. And I just thought it was like so friggin' funny, because I was like, dude, are you there? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, okay, well, women, we usually make sounds to let the other person know. Like, we were cracking up laughing. We thought it was funny. Okay. So I also wanted to share this because this tied into this whole thing. So the other day, I'm not sure where I read it. Somewhere on social media. Maybe Facebook. I don't know where maybe it was just online in general. I don't know. I'm wicked curious. So I find myself in really strange places. I don't know how I ended up here, but I read this really great story about a guy named Alexander James. And he had a post that went viral on Twitter. And this is what he shared in his post. Okay. So I'm going to quote him. So, quote, this is Alexander James. Okay. Quote, some years back, my wife and I got into the habit of asking each other, do you want comfort or solutions, when the other was having a bad time? And that one sentence can save us from an argument 9 out of 10 times. And I was like, yeah, all right, Alexander. Like, I was up in my office like a little weirdo, just like clapping, like, that's what I'm talking about. Amen, brother. Amen. Right? Being able to ask the other person, what do you want from me right now? Right. And his simple way, their approach in his marriage was, do you want comfort right now, or do you want solutions? And I was so excited, actually. I gotta admit, is he over there? Yeah. So Toby Pajamas, if you're watching this, like, let's see if I can turn my monitor a little bit. Where's my little buddy? So a lot of times when I'm doing stuff, he's over on the bed. Oh, he's over on the bed sleeping. So sometimes when I clap and get really enthusiastic, like when I do podcasts, sometimes, you guys, I scare him right out of the room. He's like, whoa, Jesus, what is she doing over there? So I was wicked excited about that. And so I don't know, maybe I'll do I don't know. Maybe I'll go a little more deeper into the whole how can I be helpful thing, because I think there's like even more deeper, multiple layers to this, but let's just stay with this for now. Let's just stay with this. So it's like, the next time somebody you care about calls you, texts you, you know that they want to talk to you about something, because nothing's more, and like, here's the other thing too. A lot of times people are going to come to you for advice, and they're not going to follow your advice. They just want to bitch about it. They don't actually want to fix the problem yet. They just kind of want to bitch about it or talk about it as if they, they're going to fix the problem, but then they don't take action. And that's one of the great things. Like, I'm at a point in my life and in my work. Let's just take a little digression sidebar, is that I'm really only interested in working with people who are actually action takers, people who want to get some skin in the game, want to fucking do the work, want to play a proactive role in their healing. They want to show up for themselves and overcome these patterns, these mindsets, these behaviors, these stories, right? That's why the whole process is like your story to your glory, because that's what I find most interesting, right? And I understand there's a period of time where sometimes we're just processing it and we're not ready to take action yet. And I totally get that. But I really love working with people when they're like, yes, I'm ready. Let's go. I am ready to get some skin in the game, make an investment. Like, let's do this. And then it's wicked exciting. But still, even though I know that they're showing up because they want to work on X, Y, and Z, every call, I will still say to them, how can I be helpful? So I'm going to read you guys the actual, prayer from A Course in Miracles. And like, I always say to people, don't get friggin' hung up on like the pronouns and stuff like that. If you wish it said she instead of he, if you wish it said source or God instead of he, if you wish it said universe, please just insert your happy words. Okay. I call this the miracle worker prayer from A Course in Miracles. And so whenever I'm going to go into any situation where I'm going to be teaching or deep listening or giving advice or trying to, mentor or whatever the thing is, coach or mentor or blah, 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 right? If I get hired to come into somebody's program to talk to their people, do a podcast, 1,000 ways that I open my big mouth, or write something, even when I'm writing something. So here's the prayer. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. And I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. So that's not me showing up with an agenda. That's not me going in and trying to fucking fix anybody. This is me. That's not what spiritual mentoring is. I'm not there to fix anybody. I am there to create a safe container so that you can deepen your relationship, so that you can start to work on yourself and gather the spiritual tools that you need to like do this work. But I don't show up with my own agenda. I'm not there to convince anybody of anything, but I am there to cheerlead and to support and to help people with content and depending on how you work with me, right? Sometimes it's community. And definitely with again, it depends whether it's one-to-one or the group with the nest, but I don't show up with an agenda. I mean, I do show up sometimes with a plan, because you got to kind of like say like, okay, but it's not a plan that I made on my own. Very much divinely assigned plan. But I go in and I say, I always try to remember, I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here, right? And here's the thing. I don't have to worry. This is the good news. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do. And that's why I don't really prep if I'm going to be on somebody's, podcast, meaning I don't ask for the questions in advance. I'm not trying to look a particular way. I just say, let's just show up and have a real conversation. Let's just meet each other like face to face, online as much as we can, hat to hat. And let's just dialogue. Let's just talk to each other. Let's just be real, right? And have a genuine, as much as we can, intimate conversation. Because I'm only there to be truly helpful. And I don't have to try and figure it out and work it out and look a particular way. I just get to show up and say, this is what I know to be true. Here's what I think. And sometimes, right, it's like in any conversation, do you want me to listen right now? Do you want comfort or do you want solutions? Do you want feedback or do you just want me to listen? Right? So we circle back to this main question. And this is the question that I said, that this is the question that can change everything in your relationships. What do you need from me right now? And I can't tell you how much I imagine that your partners, professional life or personal life, your sweeties, your children, whoever, your clients would really appreciate to hear that, because it gives them a chance to express their needs, to find out that it's actually okay to have needs, and that it's okay to want what they want, and they can talk about it, and that somebody's going to actually listen. And that's the other part of it, right? Because if you're going to ask a question, it's about, can I listen? If I'm going to ask that question, what do I need from you right now? It's really like dropping your agenda and just really deeply and generously listen to what the other person has to say. And then you can decide whether or not you are the appropriate person to be helpful in this situation. You know, there are times, I was talking with a friend the other day about this, where I will often say, like, sometimes my sweetie and I will be talking and he'll be really informed about something, and he'll say, da 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 da, right? His opinion or whatever. And I'll often say back to him, I don't know enough about that to even comment. Like, anything I would say would be like I pulled it out of my ass, or it's just my, whatever. I'm like, I'm not informed enough to make an intelligent conversation out of this, right? Like, and sometimes I'll just go like, I don't know. And it's okay. Right? Because I'm not showing up, like, and that's the whole thing, right? Can we really just listen to each other and show up with curiosity instead of judgment? And, sometimes if a client comes to work with me, or I have like a call with them beforehand or whatever, like, because that's the steps, right? If somebody wants to work with me one-to-one, they fill out the application, we get on a phone call, and they're vetting themselves a little bit, right? By answering some of those questions, we get on a phone call. And then we have a conversation. And there have been times when I'm like, I don't think it's a good fit. Or there are times if I start to work with somebody and I realize it's a deeper situation, because I would say I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist, right? I am a lot of things, right? Long time Course in Miracles student, certified spiritual mentor, certified yoga teacher, right? Breath work, Thai yoga, massage, like writing. There's a lot of stuff. But one thing I am not is a psychologist, right? So I will often say to them, this sounds to me, and I am trauma informed, and I'm learning all the time, even more and more and more and more about that, right? But at the same time, I might say to somebody, I think you should get like a trauma informed or a trauma trained therapist, right? I know what is mine to maybe try to be helpful with, and what is not. And that's a whole other story. I mean, I've done a couple of podcasts like about that. But I think being willing to not know the answers, and not showing up with an agenda, and not trying to fucking fix anybody, but instead showing up with a genuine desire to be helpful, and asking them, what do you want right now? What do you need from me? How can I be helpful? And that's it, you guys. That one question, right? However you decide to phrase it, use your own words, make it your own. That one question is a game changer. It can really, really, really be powerful, because then the other people, like a lot of us, like if you've ever heard of love languages, people, the love languages are like words of affirmation, quality time together, physical touch, gift giving. I think there's another one. So there's a bunch of different ways that people will show love, right? And we tend to show love in the way that we want to receive it. But a lot of times people do not have matching love languages. So somebody who likes to get words of affirmation, right? They might tell their partner, I think you're amazing, when what the partner really wants is like, oh yeah, the words are nice, but I want some action. I want you to actually spend some quality time with me. So if we actually talk to each other, and again, I don't care how long you've been together or how long you've known each other, because we all grow and change all the time. And the thing that you used to need or want might not be what you want on a Tuesday night when you're fucking tired and you're PMSing, or you had a terrible day at work, or whatever, fill in the blanks, right? You're hormonal, you're just wiped out because you're exhausted from homeschooling your kid, like the 1,000 ways and stuff that the body and mind goes through, right? So what if we were to meet each other with fresh eyes and fresh ears, right? Fresh antennas, attuned every day, and just saying, what do you need from me right now? And what a gift for somebody to be able to say, thank you so much, and this is what I need. So you guys, I hope that this was helpful in some way. I hope you can apply it somewhere in your life. That is always my greatest hope, with the podcast, that it's a way for me to provide, so many words are so overused in like the business entrepreneurial, like certain frames of the world, right? And I'm just like, I just want to add value. I'm like, nah, I want the shit that I share. Well, hopefully it's not shit. I want the stuff that I share from my heart to also be able to somehow land in your heart. It's not always going to work, right? There'll be some shows that really resonate with you. Some you're like, whatever. Some you might be like, I already knew that, like blah, 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 whatever. But is with genuine hope every time I do a show that somebody somewhere will benefit from me in my big mouth in front of the mic. So thank you so much. If you found it helpful, or if you know of somebody that this might be helpful to, please share the show. If you genuinely dig the show, right? One of the things I'm trying to get better at is asking for help. So if you genuinely dig the show, please go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and subscribe to the show. Leave a rating, leave a review, share this sucker with friends. A lot of you have been so great, like when you share it on your Instagram stories and stuff like that, or on Facebook, that you tag me. So I get to say thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It just makes me so happy to know that this is how we spread the love, you guys, and this is how we help each other. I love doing shout outs for my friends. I love sharing about, the people that I love who are doing great things in the world. And so if you could help me do it, that would be great. Also, I should let you know that I have a new little offer that I haven't really been talking about, but it's called a Hot to Hot Day. Hot to Hot. I'm making little hats with my hands. Little Hot to Hot Day. And it's a way to get some one-to-one mentoring via voice messaging, Voxa. You can check it out. That's really cool. You can just go to my website and it's, you'll find it. Just go to the Work With Me page and you'll see all the different ways. And also, something interesting about the Nest is going to be happening in the next few months. So I highly recommend, if you want to know what's going on with all of that, to join my newsletter list. You can either join through getting my freebie, which is my Build Your Spiritual Team. It's a little simple PDF download guide, a little one-pager, wicked easy, bing, bang, boom. You get a little treat for signing up. And that's just KarenKenney.com/freebie. You can also bypass that, just get on the list without the freebie. That's KarenKenney.com sign up, I think. But if you want to find out what's going to be happening, you can also just get right on the Nest waiting list. If you just want direct access to that sucker, again, just go to my Work With Me page. You'll see all the ways to do all this stuff. Not to inundate you with 1,000 things, but it'd be stupid of me. If I have some stuff that might be helpful to you, it'd be stupid of me not to share it. So here I am reaching out to you guys. You guys, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day whenever you are listening to this. I hope that you are feeling supported and loved in your world. I know that it's a wicked weird world right now, and these are extra weird times. And I know a lot of people are just kind of feeling alone and tired and exhausted and scared and 1,000 things. So I hope somehow that that the podcast can be a little love, a little bright light, a little something for you to not feel so alone. I really do send these out like little, if they were like little carrier pigeons, although I don't like to make animals work, but if they were like little love letters that I can like send, a little paper airplane love letters, that's a vocal airplane love letters. That's how I like to think of sending them out. So you guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I celebrate you. I hear you and I feel you. And I think about you a lot. So wherever you go out into the world, right? Wherever you go out into the world, just try to leave the people you come in contact with, the places that you visit, the animals, the environment, try to leave it all better than how you found it, right? Wherever you go and visit, may they be happy that you were there. Wherever you go, may you be a blessing. Bye. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Karen Kenney Show. I super duper appreciate your time, friendship, and support. And look, if something that I shared from my heart today somehow landed in yours, I'd love to hear about it. So please tag me on Facebook or Instagram or IG stories or wherever the cool kids are hanging out these days. And let me know what your favorite part was or what you found most helpful. You can find me over at Karen Kenney Live. That's Karen, KenneYlive. And if you're digging what I'm saying and you want to hear more, I'd be wicked grateful if you could go to iTunes and subscribe and leave a review, because you guys, that's how you'll help me to keep spreading the love. And if you can think of someone that could benefit from hearing this episode, please share it with them. I'd also love to stay connected with you. So if the feeling is mutual, please go to KarenKenney.com/freebie and download my free guide to building your spiritual team. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, keep living in the fearless flow. Know that I see you, I appreciate you, and I love you. And wherever you go, may you be a blessing.